everyone, it's Carolyn here from Waiheke Island down under in New Zealand. Yesterday I said I was going to be pruning a fig and here I am today. I've done quite a bit of it. It's quite windy this morning, so I'm just really going to give you some basics on pruning that should be able to transfer over to most fruit trees. So when you're pruning a fruit tree, you want to know, is my plant deciduous? That is, does it lose its leaves or not? And you can see that this one has a few leaves left, but it's a fig, it is deciduous, and generally they lose their leaves in winter, and usually that's the time that you would prune them. Figs are very, very forgiving when it comes to pruning. I could cut this one right down low here somewhere and with a chainsaw, and it would just burst back into life come spring. So it's a good one to learn on. It's pretty safe, you can't really cause much damage. Another good thing about it is the wood is quite soft to cut through. This one here, I've just whipped around it. I hear people talk about the 3 Ds, dead, dying and disease. You don't generally have those in a well-maintained tree. During the year you want to keep an eye on your tree and take care of those. In saying that, I can actually see a bit of something here that's not looking that healthy. There's a bit of borer there, so that is something that I do need to whip off and just take care of. But one thing that I want to sort of get people to be familiar with is identifying the parts that make up the whole, because when you first look at a tree and want to prune it, it's very, very complicated. And the way I work around a tree is I divide it into pieces like their arms. If you have a look, the bottom here is kind of like a hand with these fingers coming up, and this is the palm in the middle. You've got a flat palm in here, and then you've got these fingers coming up. But when you get up a bit further, you realize they're almost like arms coming up to another palm, coming up to more fingers. And I will work my way around those so that I don't get lost in the tree. Another thing I look at is, particularly with a fruit tree, I look at where does the fruit grow on this tree. And if we look up there, I think there's still one up there, you will see that, I can't see if there is one up there, but they fruit right on the ends of the growth, and they have this piece here is extremely long growth. That is in one season, and it fruits right at the top up there, and if you left that, it would do another 1.5 meters of growth and have fruit way up there, and then the next year do the same again and again. So that's called fruiting on the new growth. So each new spurt of growth, it will have its fruit on that. So that gives you confidence to cut these ones back really hard, which you can see I've done. I've cut these right back, and I've cut them back to a couple of nodes, which are these bumps on the side. And I tend to find a node which is facing out, so when the new growth comes out, it won't get tangled. It will form this open shape. So these are the little bumps on the side, but I'll talk more about those in the future, so don't worry too much at this stage. But I want to just give you the idea that you work around it in a logical fashion. So I worked around each arm, and I'm now up to this arm here. So all I do is come up, find two or three nodes, and make a cut. And this is quite soft wood, so I can do it with these. Most of it I cut with the loppers, but because I've got the camera in my hand, I'm going to use secateurs. And I just follow around doing that, just finding the little nodes, just cutting them. It wouldn't take very long to trim this tree up, but it has been quite well maintained in the past. There's another one. You can see I'm cutting it on that slope because I want rain to run away from the top. I don't want it to stay up there and rot this tree out. So I'm working around the little arms, and there's really just one more to go here. And here it is, last cut. I say last cut, but I can see a little one there that really needs to be trimmed as well. And there you go, it's done. It would take me, I don't know, 3 minutes to do that whole tree with a lopper. I use my loppers a lot of the time because they're very, very sharp. So that's these ones here. But you have to look after your loppers in order to keep them sharp and do a good cut. So hopefully that has given you some idea about what to do. So look at it, decide if it's deciduous, so does it lose its leaves, and then work out whether or not it has fruit on the growth that you're wanting to cut off, and then work around each part, each arm. So and then don't worry too much about the dead, dying and disease until later on. We'll talk about that in the future. There you go, so stay tuned. There'll be lots of figs that I will be pruning in the next few weeks, and they won't all look as cute as this one. This one here is probably about 10 years old, and I've maintained it for maybe the last 5, just to give you an idea. Okay, join me tomorrow and see what I'm up to.